Is the 2023 Hyundai Tucson worth the sticker price of $35,555? I'll tell you what, Hyundai did a great job with the redesign for 2022 that obviously carries over here for the 2023 model year as what we're looking at today. Hyundai really departed from more of a conservative approach to the way their vehicles were looking, at least with the Tucson, well, to what I would say is more of an aggressive approach. It looks good, it looks modern. It's really got a bold look compared to what it used to. That's at least what I think. This is the XRT model. It's front-wheel drive. You're going to find LED headlights, LED daytime running lights that have really a very nice kind of shimmering, cascading look. It's probably hard to tell because my shutter speed on the GoPro just doesn't do it justice, but I like how the design of the headlights, or the daytime running lights, I should say, flows into the grille. Those are the headlights. I know that. Don't need to hear from the correction Nazis on that. But sometimes you just make mistakes in these dialogues when you're trying to do it in one take. But an overall nice look, that's for sure. And then with your blinker right here, that looks great. Modern, looks cool. That's why you want to use them. It makes you look cool, and it lets people around you know what you're doing too. That is helpful. And you're going to have the XRT front fascia and rear fascia, the side body cladding as well. That honestly, when you look at everything that's here, whether it's the body cladding here or what we have right here, this really gives it a more aggressive looking stance and honestly makes it look a little bit bigger than it really is. And I like the fact that you don't just have one big flat piece right here. It's not gloss black, so it's going to stand up to the abuse that it's going to face on the road. And then you have your 235 width 55 series sidewall tires wrapped around the 19-inch wheels, again really mimicking the front end and what that looks like as we take a look at what we have here on these wheels as well. Everything's designed to really work together. You're also going to find what I don't necessarily think is required, but it does give it a nice look, and that's going to be the side steps right there. But who knows, it might make it easier for somebody to get in and out. Nice sure-footed ability, that's for sure. You're also going to have the roof rails with the crossbars. So I'm going to give you the cargo capacity numbers in just a little bit, but you know, you really kind of have a lot more than just what's on the interior because of what you have up here. We'll see if we can give you a little bit better look at that. And you also have the power rear door. And there's something I want to show you right here about this. Let's just say you're walking up here and saying to yourself, that's just too high for me, or maybe for where you park your Tucson. Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to pull it down a little bit. Maybe this is the height you want. Here's how you set it to where it will open to this height instead of 100%. Just hold the button down and listen for it to beep. So now, when I close that, it's going to open back up to the same height where I just set it instead of opening up 100% of the way. And so just one of those nice little conveniences that you have here. So if you were looking for something like that within the interior, you're not going to find it there. You're going to find it right here. And under the hood is the 2.5 liter four-cylinder. It makes 187 horsepower and 178 pounds-feet of torque. Now, really good news here. I know a lot of you might be expecting this front-wheel drive Tucson to have a CVT or continuously variable single-speed transmission. Nope, not in this case. 8-speed automatic. I know a lot of you are cheering now, right? That makes people happy because I know the CVT is not always that popular, but here's something that's definitely popular: MPGs. 25 city, 32 highway, 28 combined. And Hyundai says you should use 3.6 gallons of gas per every 100 miles you drive. And to bring that number of 3.6 gallons per every 100 miles to a little bit more simplified way to look at, this is a 14.3 gallon gas tank that you're going to be filling up. One thing I definitely have to give kudos to Hyundai on is the fact that, well, what you won't see back here is a rear window wiper. Not long ago, I did a BMW iX, the electric version of the SUV that they have, over $100,000. It had an exposed rear window wiper. The window wiper is here hidden away within the rear roof spoiler. That's always good. Obviously, you have the power rear door. We looked at that earlier. One thing I definitely want to tell you about here, you might have noticed when I showed you the undercarriage shot that there was no spare tire under there. Don't worry, it's kind of like that CVT not being here. You have the 8-speed automatic transmission instead. you also have a spare tire as well. Cargo capacity numbers come in at 38.7 to 80.3 cubic feet. You do have the cargo cover right here that you can put in place. Very easy to do, as you can see right there. And then you just pull on that, and there you go. Now, if you're going to maximize your cargo capacity, good news. Very easy to do. You don't have to do it on the seats themselves. You can just stand right here and do that, and you're good to go. The cargo cover is removable, and you do have the 12-volt power outlet right here. There is lighting within the interior to make everything very nice, and nice carpet right here as far as just a mat of sorts to kind of protect everything back here. Depending on what you're hauling, that definitely makes a difference. And when it comes to your rear seat passengers, here's what they're going to find. There's gloss black trim throughout. Looks really nice. And then these soft touch materials right here for the armrest. I could be comfortable there for a while. And then if the seats were still in their down position here, maximizing cargo capacity, you're going to use this release to put them back in place. And like I said, there's a lot of room back here. But the interesting thing, if somebody really tall was sitting in the front seat, for the rear seat passengers, that's why you have these areas kind of recessed right here. That actually increases leg space in case the seat's kind of far back. I know that could be uncomfortable regardless. But if you're wondering, why is that there? Is it just to look nice? Nope, that's what it's actually for. And then you have these seat back pockets right here. And you also have the rear air conditioning vents and 2 USB ports. I always wonder why car makers don't put in 3 USB ports, but if you had 3 passengers back here, you could buy an adapter that would easily solve that problem. And then we'll pull down the fold down armrest right here with the cup holders built in that will keep the rear seat passengers, well, nice and hydrated. They can put their drinks right there. And if you're saying to yourself, you know what, the door bins on those rear doors are not quite big enough for me, well, if you're going to be a passenger, you better call Shotgun, because you're going to have the larger door bins here in the front. Put your bottle here, snacks back here, or whatever you want to fit right there, and then the nice floor mats with the Tucson logo right there. Now, this is not a power seat on the driver's side, at least not here with this particular model. So it is fully adjustable, but it's all manually adjustable, but I don't think that's really that big of a deal. And a very nice look. Again, going back to what I said earlier in the video, with the design of the air conditioning vents and the way everything flows into the dashboard right here, just the angles, the way everything looks, well, again, it's not conservative. Kudos to Hyundai for that. And the gloveless glove box, I find anything but gloves in here typically. So that's not going to happen here at least. But you do have a lot of room for a lot of gloves in there. And then a little bit of space down here for you to put some items if you want to put them right there. You also have the wireless charging pad right here, as well as connectivity options for the driver and passenger, a 12-volt and 2 USB ports. If you're not a fan of the push-button shifter, good news, it's not here. That's a good thing. Also, you're going to have some more of that gloss black material here, the gloss black trim, as well as the cup holders. You're going to have the heated seats right here for the driver and the passenger. Remember, this is for less than $36,000. And then the multitasking lid for the center console. Why is it a multitasker? Because it's not only the lid for the center console, but it also is an armrest for the driver and the passenger. And then we'll take a look. There is a reasonable amount of space in there as well. And a look at the remote. Tastefully done. Still in its wrapper, so I'm not going to take that out. But you can see what all is there, including remote start, something I know a lot of you like. And I don't know if I showed this to you earlier, but you do have the turn signal indicators built into those power adjustable manually folding side view mirrors. They are also gloss black, as well as some of what we looked at in the interior. And then here we're going to have, well, the same size door bin as what we already looked at. Power window, or power mirror, I should say, adjustments, power locks, and everything for the power windows here, and the power lock, or the lock for the power windows right there. This is a fully adjustable tilt and telescopically adjustable steering wheel. And we're going to hop in here and get everything started. We're going to hit the push button start right here. And you have two 10.25-inch screens, the instrument cluster and the infotainment screen right there, as you can see. And I know a lot of you like to know if it has built-in navigation. Well, there's your answer right there. We looked down here briefly earlier at some of the one-touch features that you have. You have auto hold mode, your power parking brake, among other features. You know what all is there. You also have your drive mode selector right here. Let's take a look at what happens when you change driving modes. You have smart, you have sport, you have normal. You know, it really makes the dash pop when you go into that sport mode. I must say, I'm very impressed with how that looks. But other people might say, well, I like normal more than I like sport. So you have what you have to choose from there. Here's where you're going to control not only the headlights and tail light, turning everything on and off, but also, remember those blinkers I showed you earlier? If you're thinking, well, I don't even know how to use those. All you have to do is push it into the up position. That means you're turning to the right or changing lanes to the right, and the same thing to the left. That goes into the down position, in case you were kind of confused about that. Steering wheel mounted controls. Can't really say anything sarcastic about those, nor can I about, well, everybody uses their windshield wipers, the front and rear window wiper control right there. And so obviously, well, it's okay to laugh. That's why we throw those little jokes in there sometimes. And then you have your menu right here. Let's see if I can get that to respond right there. Depending on what you want to do, nearby info, all that good stuff, it's all there. It's all so easy to use. And then obviously you can go through a lot of different information here as far as what you have for the infotainment screen. We can go to media right here and see what we have available to us. Quite a few nice features right here. We're not going to go through every single little thing, but you can see what's there. You can go to setup if you want to. There is a lot going on here. I have to say, a very nice modern look. And then let's go into reverse. Take a look at the rear view camera. Nice and clear. You've got your trajectory lines right there that are going to follow the direction of where you're turning the steering wheel, as you can see. And then you have your dual zone climate control here as well. I already showed you that you don't have your controls for the heated seats here, but you do have them right here. In fact, I'll turn that on. You have 3 different settings. You have medium, high, and low, or maybe we should say they start out with high and go to medium and then to low. We'll do it in perfect order or correct order right there. If you need to turn your hazard lights on, well, there's how you do that. And I did talk earlier about the fact that you have a very smooth ride quality with this Tucson. Speaking of that, that's a good segue to get into the test drive. And by the way, there's one more thing I want to show you or let you hear when you turn the ignition off. Here's what you're going to hear. All right, let's get out on the road for our test drive. And you might wonder about the horsepower number. I told you it's 187 horsepower. You might think, is that enough? The horsepower to weight ratio here is not bad at all. And it's not that the Tucson is meant to be a high performance vehicle. You can get the RPMs to rise a little faster than you would otherwise if you go into sport mode. So if you're looking for the best performance possible, well, obviously that's how you're going to get it. But overall, the acceleration for getting down the road and getting up to speed, highway speed, and if you need to pass a slower moving vehicle when it's safe to do so on a 2-lane road, it's not a problem. You're not going to have any issues there. So plenty of power, plenty of torque for what you have here. But you know what the biggest payoff is? Obviously those great MPGs. But as I'm driving down the road here, I'm just reminded of the fact that not only are the seats themselves comfortable, but so is the overall ride quality. Steering is great. This is a great vehicle for big city driving because of the fact that, well, if you're in a situation where you live in a really big city and you need to be able to get around and don't want a super large vehicle, well, this is definitely something to take into great consideration. And you probably hear some of my stuff sliding around there in the back seat, but not a big deal. So we're going to get up to speed here. Going to give it a little bit of gas. The engine definitely is not letting me down. Getting down the road, no problem. I'm not going to get into it too much, but yep, got to have to slow down a little bit. But we're doing just fine where all of that is concerned. Everything here is easy to learn or use if you're stepping into something with this kind of technology for the first time. It's an easy vehicle to see out of. Obviously, you have a lot of great safety features here. Just overall, I have to say, there's a reason why these Tucsons are so popular. They're really worthy of being high up on your list if you're looking for a new vehicle, and it fits to have a vehicle of this size. the Hyundai Tucson, it definitely is one of the absolute best in class, that's for sure. Now, a lot of people might say, well, do you need more horsepower? You know what? I'm a race car driver. You always need more horsepower, but for the average person, I think this is definitely going to take care of business. And do one thing real quick here. It's kind of hard to do, but we're going to show you the turning radius here just so you can see. I had absolutely no trouble making that turn right there. That's where it would be helpful to have a drone above the vehicle, but you know what? That's just not possible today. So tell me down in the comments section, what do you think? Is the 2023 Hyundai Tucson worth the sticker price of $35,555? This XRT model definitely has some great features. Like I said, you get a lot of standard tech and safety features for what you pay for. Very impressive overall, and obviously a nice design. We didn't really look at these rear taillights, but they sure look nice, that's for sure. So tell me what you think down in the comments, and tell me why you answered the way that you did. I got to say a special thanks to my friends at Mike Morgan Hyundai for loaning me this Tucson for the day, and a special thank you to all of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn about other vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I'll see you there.